it's bound to forsake me. So stupid minded.
So let it be written, so let it be done.
One, two, and I say thank you for coming back to the Heritage Hip Hop Podcast. Heritage Hip Hop is not your regular podcast. We introduce you to your future favorite artists today while celebrating those who have laid the foundation for this fabulous hip hop culture that we respect and that we live. Before we get into the show, I'd like to give a shout out to the 17 Cypher for hooking us up. Shout out to my sister, Harmony Equality. And shout out to my man, Mayhem Media, for all the production work that they had done with the intro and everything. Make sure, ladies and gentlemen, when you come into the room, you hit that like button because we have to hit our number. I want to hit the number tonight. I want to make sure that the algorithm knows that we're here and everybody knows that it's a wonderful classic show that's about to take place. Before I really shout out to in the A Zone, Big A Zone. Shout out to my partner, that's my brother for life. And I want to get into all that stuff tonight because look, like, share, comment, hit the like button, share this shit, and let's go. Today I have an MC I'm excited about. Listen, y'all know me. I'm very big on the hip hop that I like, and I found an artist that put out a project that not only is dope, he has something to say, and I want to challenge his mind tonight because great artists not only make good music, but they make you think. And a thinker and a philosopher is the person who, outside of the war, documents the story and tells the truth of those who have lived and who have died. See, the victors always lie, but the philosophers get the deep understandings to the events that take place. And since hip hop is alive and it takes place daily, momentarily, if not in second, it happens in a way where it's good to have another set of eyes to translate to you what you see or what you have seen to give you perspective. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce you to Mar. Mar, what's good, bro?
Yo, what's the deal, man? I can't call it.
But you will. And we're going to call you great tonight. We're going to call you great tonight because we're going to talk about some great music. And I want to introduce the Heritage Hip Hop family to you. And one thing they'll tell you, I'm not big on everybody. You give me some corny shit, I'm going to say you corny. I mean, that's just the way it is. But I was introduced to you through the 17 Cypher. Shout out to Harmony Equality. And I wanted the people to know a little bit about your background. Tell us where you're from and how you learned about hip hop.
Well, I'm from Detroit, Michigan. Born and raised here, east side of Detroit. As far as hip hop, my introduction to hip hop was a visual one, I would say. I don't know exactly when I would fall in love with it, but it's just kind of always been around since I was like a little kid, man. I was sitting on the couch watching videos. My aunts, and they was older. They used to be playing videos all day, and I just was watching them and picking up on it. And, you know, some kind of magic happened. Some kind of seed was planted during the, I would say, like early 90s around that time. So, yeah.
The 90s is the crux of hip hop. That's a very important time because during the 90s, a lot of the greatest, most revered music came out, and that was the changing of the guard from hip hop being in the city to now the world taking notice to us.
Yeah.
So you are a baby of the world that grew up in Detroit. What do people not know about Detroit that you feel they should understand to understand you and your music?
Well, the correlation is it's a lot of different sounds that come out of here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think, especially if you just kind of getting into like Detroit rap and hip hop right now, you probably think like it's just only one sound that come out of here, but it's a lot of different sounds. I mean, if you missed the whole Jay Dilla wave, then you missed that sound, and everybody that created music that sounded like that or came from that tree, so to speak. Now it's a different sound, but that sound was here back then too. It's just, it wasn't as big as that sound. It's like each sound is kind of having its time. And right now it's a certain sound that's having its time, and that's fine. We love that sound. We grew up on that sound. But I think I probably represent a side of Detroit that's kind of a stickler to the roots of what I think the nationwide would understand to be like what Detroit hip hop is, but still like I come from that street side too, so it's still like incorporated because it's there and I grew up on it. And yeah, I think that's the correlation, just being a different voice to hear outside of the city. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, for the people who are navigating hip hop today, Detroit for them is they don't even know Slum Village. They know Eminem, they
Yeah,
know Royce the 5'9", and they know some of the newer people that's out.
yeah,
But a lot of people don't really know Esham. A lot of people don't really know a lot of the history of Detroit. And one thing that I could tell from Detroit, and you correct me if I'm wrong, Detroit was always big on how you placed your words, not just how you said your words. Am I correct?
yeah, yeah. It's an emphasis there for sure. I mean, when you talk about Eminem and them, they put a lot of emphasis on syllables and whatnot. But the
Mhm.
new guys, they do it a little different. A lot of people say it sounds like they rapping before the beat, which ultimately sounds like somebody to a trained ear sounds like a person who can't rap. But ultimately, what they're doing is cultivating a different style. That's all it really is. You know what I'm saying? And now it's a style of his own because it's got its own legs now. Everybody's doing it. Not even in Detroit, they're doing that style. So you're right about that. Yeah.
You know what's foul though? The foulest part about Detroit to me is East Coast, West Coast, and then there's like everybody else just gets slammed in the middle.
Yeah.
Where hip hop is so big that we misunderstand it. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe America is not a country. It's more of a continent with 50 countries in it. And
Yeah.
Michigan, like I'm from New Jersey, and
Yeah.
New Jersey and Detroit, Michigan have a love affair that's crazy. But Michigan and New Jersey, we may suffer from the same bouts of racism and tragedy, but our language is different, our culture is different, and there's
Yeah.
certain things about us that is so different that we get lost in the shuffle. You agree?
Yeah. I could definitely get looked over.
What's some of the things that you seen the game take from Detroit that they didn't give Detroit credit for?
What I seen the game take from Detroit, man, they just ran with our whole style right now, man.
Talk about it.
But yeah, man, fashion definitely. You know what I'm saying? Definitely the fashion, definitely the Cartier glasses. You know what I'm saying? That seemed to be a thing that's running rampant right now. And just right now it seemed to be just the overall style of swag of the way that we do music here. It's kind of like they kind of ran with that a little bit. But the thing about Detroit though is, man, I don't think we really I think maybe we should, but I don't think we really make a big fuss about it as much. You know what I'm saying? It's not like they running, they jacking our style, da, 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 da. Like you don't hear a lot of that. If anything, you see a lot of artists from Detroit just embracing it and just keeping moving the culture forward. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, they ran with a lot, man.
No, I mean, look at Jersey. I'm from Jersey. We always had a love affair and a war with New York because New York didn't accept us. People wanted to go to New York to be accepted, yet we have our own thing, and they wanted to shut it down. And then look
Yeah,
at today, Jersey Club. Now everybody want to do club and dance records, right?
yeah, yeah,
I mean, that's just one aspect from where I'm from, and I'm sure everybody else. There's people from Philly who changed the way people reflected the beat, not just rhymed on the beat. Shout
yeah,
out to the Philly era from the 90s, early 2000s, up to AR and Siegel to AR ad. Shout rest in peace to Malik B of the Roots. But those are people who really went in and did work.
yeah.
I want to philosophically hit you with something. I want you to tell me what you think.
Yep, yep.
Hip hop is like a religion. You believe it?
Mm. Elaborate. I've never heard that one before, but
Well, a religion is not what God you believe in.
mm-hmm.
A religion is the consistency of a lifestyle that you live, that when people see you, they can label you a member of something.
Okay, yeah.
Like Nas said, my religion is reefer, which means he smokes weed every day, basically. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no doubt.
Like, you know, and if you wanted to take religion as a faith, the thing that destroyed religion was the many denominations. One belief, but so many different ways to do it. Do you think hip hop is going that way?
I do think it's splitting off into different sections. I mean, that's obvious. I don't think that it's hurting hip hop. I don't think it's taking hip hop down the same road as religion went, as far as like the destruction of it. I don't believe that.
Okay.
I think what I look at it more as so is that hip hop, for one, is still pretty young, you know, given it just turned 50. And so it's pretty, to me, when I look at it, I see history repeating itself, and it's pretty much going down the same path as other genres that have come before it. Jazz, rock, they all had these ebbs and flows, these ups and downs, you know. And I heard a guy say the other day, like he feel like hip hop is where rock and roll was in the 80s. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, that's where you bring in the big hair bands and it's just being real exploitive and, you know, basically on its way to go downward. But I feel like that's the trajectory of all different genres of music, honestly. But I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's just going to land with the people that really love it. It's going to wind up being like jazz. Like you could still go to a jazz concert or a jazz club. They still do jazz. It's not in stadiums, but you know what I'm saying? It's still out there. So I think it's going to become a bit more intimate like that, smaller, you know, with the people that really love doing it, not the people, because if there ain't no money in it, the people who want the money out of it, they're going to leave and do something else. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to stick around.
I'm glad you said that because that was the point I was hitting. That when people think of religion, right, they always think about worship. You think about probably like the people you pray to.
Yeah.
Or holy days or traditions.
Yeah.
And ironically, trying to destroy those things is what got Christ killed in the Bible, right? Let me pull it together so I don't go too far.
Yep.
You have people who will stand by one type of hip hop to the point where they go to war, and that's when the business of hip hop gets destroyed because the industry takes over.
Okay.
And what I see in today is the denominations: boom bap, West Coast trap, emo. You have all this, but we forget the one thing that brought us all together, which was the belief that we could be more, so recreate to tell the world our story. Yeah. Do you feel hip hop story is still being heard today, and does your music tell it?
It's definitely still being heard, man, like on all platforms, even in the mainstream. But the thing about the mainstream is it's a bit more few about money. I think we all know that. I feel like whenever you throw money at something, that's when it just kind of just goes to shit pretty much. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, because you're going to have people that's going to do whatever for money. You know what I'm saying? And that's never good for the art. To answer the other part of your question, I'm definitely telling the story, you know, carrying the legacy, so to speak, because it's just in me to do so because of where I feel like a foundation from where my creativity come from. The reason why I even want to rap or even trying to rap or attracted to it in any kind of way. So, yeah. I can't hear you.
My apologize. Ladies and gentlemen, we got to the Let's Build portion of the Heritage Hip Hop podcast, which focuses on something the artist said that is very significant that we want to highlight in this conversation. You said when money gets involved, if people get something to the money, they do whatever.
Yeah.
Check this out. Social media and the internet as a whole is not lucrative, especially for men. Yeah. Social media is lucrative for people that's half naked, and the one thing they do better is they market than the average artist.
Yeah.
I just saw something where a woman was selling pictures of her behind and she blurred out her butt crack. So she's selling the crack on the picture, which is crazy. And she's making money from this.
Yeah.
And one thing about their industry is, you like me, check out my girl. You like my girl, check us out while we do things together. And hip hop seems to fail that because the people that run the game have completely polluted the minds where an artist has to fight for listeners when the musical palette could be diverse in many sounds.
Yeah.
How hard is it for you to stay afloat with the internet or the industry when the social dynamics of the media fights against togetherness naturally when it comes to men?
Oh yeah, I'm fighting against the machine. And it's very difficult. But the good part about it is, even though the internet was good and bad, man. It was like it opened the floodgates, so it's very oversaturated right now. It's almost at a point where it's bottlenecking itself. But the best part about the internet is you can find your crowd. You know what I'm saying? You can find your crowd really easy. You know what I'm saying? Your crowd might be a crowd of 1,500 people. At least you got access to them. It'd be hard. I was doing music in the early 2000s. So it was hard to get to even know what my crowd looked or sounded like. You know what I'm saying? Because we was pressing up CDs and doing open mics and shit like that. You know, we didn't really know. We was just passing it out to anybody who would listen. Now I can actually see if you're a fan of mine, I can actually go to your page and see what type of shit you look like. And I can categorize you with, okay, these kind of people like what I do. That's just an example. But it's definitely an uphill battle, but it also depends on what you're trying to get out of it also. You know what I'm saying? Like if your goal is to be like at the top of the top of the top, then it's going to be a lot tougher for you because it's a game that you got to play with that. And it's a lot of money you got to throw at it. I mean, your pockets got to be deep, sir. So like, if that's what you're going for, be prepared to spend a lot of money, be prepared to be online all day, be prepared to do pranks and all of the other foolishness, be prepared to do everything but make music. You know what I'm saying? But for a person like me and people like me who just love doing this shit, you know what I'm saying? You could throw shit out there and promote it a little bit as much as you can, and people will be the right people will be attracted to it. And those are people that I pay more attention to than anything. So
Nah, I salute you for that because you absolutely said the truth. Because that's why we have stories of men getting their cheeks busted by men because they're willing to do anything.
Crazy.
They're willing to do anything to get on. And one thing I said to my peoples back in the day when I first started Heritage Hip Hop, the hardest thing for me is to do it with a clean conscience.
Okay.
Because if you have morals, you stick to your moral code and you don't bug out.
Yeah.
And it seemed like you got to either get naked or sell drugs to be something in this culture. She said, Paul, shout out to Harmony Equality. but you have to seem like you have to get naked or you have to sell drugs to have some type of crazy income to do something. Like I was taught the average one song, not even from a mainstream like big artist, but to be mainstream, you got to pay $250,000 a month to get that song on a certain level.
Yeah.
As an artist that touches the people, I want to ask you, what's the biggest investment, not money? What's the biggest investment you've put out to the people that made you feel just as worthy, or you seen the worthiness of your craft just as that person spends that $250,000 or time on somebody's couch?
You mean like a ROI, like a return on investment, or you mean like
yes, yep,
okay,
like when you seen your worth?
Okay, yeah. Well, the first thing that I did that was the best investment money wise that I did was invest in the studio. You know what I'm saying? Like I record my own shit, I mix my own shit, I master my own shit, I learn how to mix my vocals, da 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 da. And so like that was the best thing I could ever do. It allowed me to record when I want to record. You know what I'm saying? It allowed me to be a lot sharper with my craft too, because I don't have to be on time. You know. That's one thing, and then second is when I just started putting projects out, and when I get people back, like you listen to it and say, you know, that you really like it, or you're really into it, or you really broke it down. When people come back to me with that kind of feedback, you know what I'm saying, that tells me that I'm on the right path. And out of all my life, the whole time I've been rapping, nobody ever told me I was weak, whack, or trash. So so that's why I just keep going. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I think you sleep on something that you do very well, though.
Okay.
You have a certain articulation that in today's society, most people don't have.
Okay.
Let me explain. I work in the schools. And one of the biggest issues we have with children starting at 2 is a lot of children don't speak.
Yeah.
They either come from unhealthy environments or they have selective mutism, which means they choose not to speak.
Yeah.
And we go through speech therapy, we go through mental things, we go through learning about the child's background, only to find out that most people find a hard time speaking is because they don't feel respected, they don't feel heard, or they went through trauma. And if that's not the basis of what hip hop was built upon, the fact that you use your voice to give the world your story by itself is one of the most amazing things that people take for granted. And I don't want you to do that.
Word.
So I want to ask you, how has rapping and making music help heal yourself, not only heal somebody else?
I would say that I do a lot of rapping, obviously, but in day-to-day life, man, I'm a pretty reserved dude. I'm pretty laid back. So for me in life, you know, I run a household, man. So I have to be a man first. And my belief in being a man first is, you know, I have to kind of put my own whatever I'm feeling emotionally aside to take care of problems, put out fires, and, you know, make sure my household is straight. That's a practice I've been practicing for many years now. So it's easy for me to compartmentalize in that way. Then what I do is I go to the gym and then I go to the studio. Those are my 2 outlets where I can just get out whatever I feel. Because to me, making music is pretty much 80% of how you feel. It's about 80% of what you feel emotion wise. I say about 5% of skill. The other 5 I would say is confidence in rap, so to speak. And that's only because I've been doing it for a while and I kind of understand how those things work. You'll build your skill set over time and you'll gain confidence as you get better. But you definitely have to go off of what you feel. That seems to be the charcoal that lights the inspiration, so to speak. So yeah, man, I deal with my emotions in there. It's a therapy for me. It's a release for me to go in there and get busy. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, that's dope. I never heard anybody break it down that way. 80%. We'll say that again. 80% is the writing?
Yeah. 80%. Music is about 80% of how you feel, like right in this
Feelings.
moment.
Okay.
It's 80% emotion. Creating, when you create, I mean, it's about to go take a left turn, but when you create, man, it's more of a feminine thing to create. You know what I'm saying? Like it comes from a feminine place. You know what I'm saying? If you just being masculine all day, that's boring. But you have to tap into that side of you in order to create something, to be creative with your hands. You know what I'm saying? So when I go into the studio, it's kind of hard for me to just sit there straight and try to be, you know what I'm saying? I have to let that go and let emotion out in order for me to create properly. So most of it is how I feel in the moment. The other 5 is skill set, which I've been sharpening my tools for a long time. And then the other 5 is confidence, because if you're not confident on the mic, that's going to translate through the mic. The listener's going to hear it. It's not going to come out right. You know, that's what works for me. I don't know about everybody else, but yeah.
No, that's a dope. You should make that a t-shirt. And music is 80% emotion. No, that's dope because
yeah.
that's why so many people get lost in the formula.
Yeah. I'm in 90%, but go ahead. Yeah.
No, yeah, 90%, yeah. But still.
Yeah.
You want to be hardcore with your hat to your back, talk about the gats and the rats, but I don't feel that hardcore. You know what I'm saying? Like the feeling has to be something that has to be understood, and it also has to be reciprocated. Because if I respond to you and you respond to me, that synergy is what makes the artist connect with the audience. You feel me?
Yeah, and not only that, it gives authenticity to what you're doing, because you can't fake feelings.
Shout out to the people out there that don't fake feelings. I told you this was a special dude right here. I told you, and we're going to really get into something even more sharper. We're going to finish off the Let's Build. We're going to finish off the Let's Build, but I want to ask you one more question, because I want to go back to, once again, faith and hip hop seems to correlate together, where some people call it a religion, other people call it a culture or a lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? And I want to ask you this before I lose my question to old age. Sorry, y'all. Let me check my notes. Now, I want to ask you this question before we even finish this. All right, here we go. Feelings, based on what you said, is key. Is that why some of these rappers are so fucking sensitive that their music sucks? Because they're trying so hard to feel like something that they're not and just not be themselves?
It could, I don't know what's going on in their life, what kind of turmoil is going on, but that could possibly be it. Or they can possibly be in a space where, they don't know exactly what they're feeling. I mean, a lot of people, they're not emotionally intelligent. I know that's a buzzword right now, but it's a real thing. You know what I'm saying? You got to kind of be tapped in with yourself in order to know who you are, and if you're not tapped in with that part of yourself, then it's going to be in disarray, And the other part is they could be trying to fake the feeling, you know what I'm saying? And it comes off a certain way. It comes off as inauthentic. And, that I don't think people, when people make music, they just don't understand how much that translates through the music to the listener. It's like we see you. You think we see you, but we see you, we hear you,
Yeah, and I mean, people are fighting for loyalty in an industry that's not loyal. I mean, I don't do hot topics, but look what's happening to Diddy right now. And how many people stood up to help him?
Yeah.
There's no loyalty in the downfall. A lot of people say when you go through the seat of fire, you're being purified, or you're being what's the word, Joe? You're either being purified or your true self is being shown to the world.
Yeah.
And it seems like in the industry, someone's always waiting to see your downfall to see who you truly are.
Yeah.
And people are seeking loyalty in something where nobody's really truly loyal.
Yeah.
What's the 3 most important things an artist must know when they get into the industry when it comes to their path and their goals, in your opinion?
Oh, the most important thing to know, and this is kind of like to talk about what you just said with loyalty and whatnot. The most important thing to know that if you're in the industry, that means you're in a business, and business is a lot more cutthroat than what people really think it is. A lot of times they don't really know how business really works. But if you have any insight, I ran a t-shirt company for a few years with a partner of mine. We got a podcast ourselves. I've been kind of in that world for like the last 6 or 7 so years. So I have a keen sense of insight of what business is like. And business is definitely cutthroat. Everybody want to win. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't expect any kind of loyalty going into a business. I just wouldn't expect it. If you want loyalty, go home. You got family members, your friends. You know what I'm saying? You don't expect none of that from business. That's why it's crazy when people are friends and they go into business with each other. That's tough because you never know how that's going to fall out, Jay or Dan. You know what I'm saying? Like, you never know how that's going to land. So that's really risky when you're risking the friendship when you do that. Just know that. You know what I'm saying? But I wouldn't expect any loyalty out of anything. It's definitely a business, and in business, people are looking for ROIs. You know what I'm saying? A record deal is nothing but a bank loan. It's plain simply put. You know what I'm saying? Somebody sees something in you, which is likes, plays, and whatever, and they want to invest some money into you. And then they're not just giving you $400,000, $500,000 just to give it to you. No, they getting that $405,000 back with something on top of that, or some back end. You know what I'm saying? You get your money from doing shows and selling your merch as a business. Like, so just know that when you're going into it,
Ladies and gentlemen, we got to the end of the Let's Build portion of the Heritage Hip Hop Podcast. I know you're enjoying this interview, and it's about to pick up. But first, we're going to take a break, and we'll be back in about a minute. Hold on.
Hey, Redman is in the building, of course. Jersey's finest, all about them bars, marijuana smoker. Hey, PSA announcement. I need everybody go support. That's right, support my fucking state, my city. Heritage Hip Hop, a New Jersey media source that celebrates New Jersey hip hop worldwide. Facts. And we are celebrating our legends right here, Jersey, baby. Please subscribe to Heritage Hip Hop on social media. That is Heritage Hip Hop on social media. Jersey, you know I love you. Jersey, you know we got bars and we got music and we got legends all day. And if you believe in Jersey and you love Jersey like I do, support that Heritage Hip Hop on all social media platforms. This is Redman and I approve this message.
Shout out to the OG Redman for the shout out. That's my GOAT, y'all. Hey, I don't like Redman. Don't listen to me. I'm a Redman, you know what I'm saying? And this young man right here, he got something that we're going to talk about. So now we get into the music portion of the interview. How you feeling, Dose? You doing good so far?
Yeah, man, I'm good, man. I'm loving this shit.
All right. So let's talk about the man who was compared to Pimp a Butterfly, but he said he's more like the flames that burn the moth's wings. Am I correct?
Yeah, I said.
Yeah, I listen to the music, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And it was a pleasure and an honor to find you. Shout out to Harmony Equality and 17 Cypher one more time, because I love when I get good music and I love when I find good people to talk to about music. And I want to ask you something about, well, where do you want to start? You want to start from the earlier stuff or you want to move backwards? How you want to do this? I'll let you choose.
Man, I'm not sure what you listen to, but I'm not sure how far in the catalog you got, man. But I mean, we can start with Don't Run From It. We can work our way down, you know. Okay,
so Don't Run From It is the newest project that you have out on Bandcamp today, right?
It was the most up to date. It came out in 2021.
It's still new.
Yeah.
Remember, no music is old to fresh ears. It's new.
Yeah, it's true.
All right. And I want to focus on a couple things when it comes to this project. First, let's talk about the cover art with the man hugging the woman with the gun behind her bra strap.
Yeah.
Now, to most people, well, that's gangster, whatever, right? But there's a dichotomy to that, because when a man hugs a woman, he finds peace and safety. Mm-hmm. But then you have a gun behind her back that's hiding war, and is also another sign of safety. What does the cover of your album mean to you?
When I saw the cover, and shout out to Rel Duke, man, he did the cover. When I saw the cover, I thought seduction, more or less. And that's how I kind of felt about hip hop at the time. Was I was at a crossroads of whether or not, like, I quit actually in 2017. And so this was me coming back from that. And it basically was just like a note to myself it was like rap was seducing me. It was like everywhere I went, somebody was asking me, yo, what up with the rap? What you doing with the rap shit? Da, 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 da. And I just was trying to play it off. But at the end of the day, I couldn't stop coming up with ideas. I couldn't stop coming up with album covers and concepts. I just couldn't. I had nothing to fill that void. And so I decided to not run from it, but to run towards it. And when I saw the cover, I felt like that was a very seductive cover to kind of explain the title or whatnot. It was more of a feeling and a visual to go with the feeling. And it was less, it wasn't as symbolic as you probably would think it was. It was just, when I saw the cover, I thought seduction. And that's what I felt like that's what the game was doing at the time for me, was seducing me, pulling me back in. Don't run from it. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
See how different things have different translations when you have a different set of eyes and ears?
Yeah.
That's what makes hip hop beautiful, because hip hop is not a genre. And if it was a genre, it would be the only living genre, because if you don't sing, you can't be R&B. And jazz is not instruments. Jazz is how you move your hips. That's why it was called the devil's music, because jazz was related to sex. But hip hop could be how you dress, how you see, think, feel, and hear, not just rap, everybody. And that's why this project was so meaningful to me personally, because I got to get an aspect of you in 3 different ways. I got the street you, I got the philosophical you, and I got the you that's a student. Let's work backwards.
Okay.
The Shaka Khan track, Shaka.
Oh, yeah.
You flipped a very well-known joint, right?
Yeah.
But the inspiration for that song meant more to your student side I got from it. Tell me about the song Shaka.
Shaka. So I always love that sample, man. That bass line is cold. So man, I basically just looped the bass line. I looped that part, which is it was a lot more intricate than I'm making it sound, honestly. Because that loop in the beginning, it was like a 5 bar, then a 3, then the sounds changed, whatever. But I looped it up, and it took me like days to kind of get it right, because I wanted that bass line. I wanted that it's no drums in it, but that bass line had a do 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 do. I needed that bass to hit way harder than the actual sample. So I had to EQ the hell out of that song to make it sound like that. And I finally got it. And then I didn't know what to rap about. So then I just started coming up with bars. And then I came up with bar. It was a pretty simple, it wasn't as deep. It was a pretty simple studio session. It was like I just started coming up with bars. Somewhere in there I came up with a hook. You know what I'm saying? I probably had the hook lingering around for like a couple of weeks in my head, just thinking of ways to kind of flip it. Most of it, like I said, 90% of what you feel, and it was more how I felt at the moment. I think I said something about like been around for years, don't nobody know me. You know what I'm saying? Walk around this bitch like somebody owe me. Like, it was just how I was feeling at that present moment in time, you know, straight from the head, because I don't be writing nothing down. I just speak into the mic, you know what I'm saying? And that's what it was, you know.
But isn't simplicity the key to the complexity of life? Because think about it.
Absolutely.
Think about it. Think of spiritual words. Let there be light. It did not say, and let there be life so that creation could come and then we can manage. No, it just said, let there be light. And the funniest thing is, when you get an idea, that's a light. It's funny that when you think, your brain lights up. And inspiration and the light is the key to creativity. I liked how you used the creativity of Ain't Nobody to really say what you had to say. Before we go on, shout out to my brother, Mr. the Southern Mayor, who likes nothing but Southern hip hop. Salute to my guy, because you like him, for real. What about, now I don't know how to say the title of this one, but it's DRFI. Is that what it is?
Yeah, don't run from it.
Don't run from it. Okay, see, that's acronyms, y'all. You got to ask questions. Don't Run From It was one of the standout tracks that I liked a lot.
Okay.
And I want you to break that track down. What was Don't Run From It, or DRFI, about, and how did you come about to the message of the song, not just how you put it together?
Yeah. I was thinking about my grandmother a lot. I was raised by my grandmother when I made that song. I don't even listen to that song, but I was thinking about my grandmother a lot. She had a stroke, and it was more or less like I was reminiscing a lot in it and kind of going back to the roots, because when I first started getting into rap, like buying my own like CDs and whatnot, I was staying with my grandmother in her house, my grandmother and my grandfather. So my the correlation between the two is like, this is my introduction to listening to rap at the moment that I wasn't supposed to be listening to, and living in this woman's house and being around her every day. And those two things are kind of intertwined for me. So in return, I always wanted to buy her a house. If I could, I wanted to buy her a house, just to flex, like, I got to grab my house. And all those feelings was going around at that time, man. And that's pretty much the inspiration for that song. I had a whole different beat for it, but I couldn't get the beat for some reason. So I had to scramble and find it. The beat wasn't available. I had to scramble and find a beat. And I came across this one. It fit. And I just finished the song out over this beat. Yeah, so.
One of the most interesting distinctions of black men to the world is they think they know us, but they really don't.
Yeah.
And the way I could tell you that this is a fact in my life is because for some reason, when anybody talks to a black man, they come with a certain let's say they come with a certain belief of how the conversation will go, only to be surprised by how intelligent we are.
Yeah.
And one thing I would say is MCs are some of the most, not rappers, mind you what I said, y'all. MCs are some of the most interesting and intelligent people I've ever met. Because if a man knows how to run a drug empire, he could be the CEO of a multi-million-dollar company and be damn good at it.
That's a fact.
Also, an MC is a philosopher because they can tell you how everything goes together and they correlate. The song Flips did that for me.
Yeah.
Because it's really about, that song really was kind of like about the relationship of how many things go together and you can see it in many forms of life.
Yeah.
Flips is a classic. I love that song.
Thank you, man.
Hey, thank you for making it. Flips is a classic because while most people want rapidy raps or most people want simple raps that they can understand, a person that could break down a concept and make it into a song is a person whose mind goes beyond the street or the classroom.
Yeah.
What is the major flip in your album that will make people appreciate you and the genre more, in your opinion?
This particular album, that's a good question, man. I feel like, well, you said Flips, which is, I like Flips. That was 100% true story on Flips. But I believe the song for me that I feel like kind of flips the switch, so to speak, on that particular album is the first song, which is Ascension. I just feel like lyrically on that song, I ascended. Like I felt like I had like a breakthrough moment when I was creating that song for me personally as a rapper. You know what I'm saying? So for me, when I listen to it, it'd be hard for me to just make it past that first song because I just love that song. And that's hard to say because I don't really love a lot of songs I make, but I truly do love that song. That's probably the only song I still listen to on that album, actually. Just because I knew like what it took for me to make that song. And so I felt like, that was just me I feel like I had a breakthrough, man. I feel like I reached another plateau. I feel like I got so much better when I made that song. And I feel like that's, for me, that would be the song that would, flip the average person to say, oh no, this guy's really nice. You know what I'm saying? That's all I wanted that song to be. So
I'm glad you said that because I felt that after I listened to Love, Liquor, and Laughter, the 3 L's.
Okay.
Y'all.
Yeah.
When I listened to Love, Liquor, and Laughter, and I listened, he left. Oh, okay. When I listened to Love, Liquor, and Laughter, and I went to the newer project, I heard the growth immediately.
Yeah.
Because I thought you were nice as hell on Dodging Raindrops.
Yeah.
I like that song a lot, actually. I like it a lot, right?
Yeah.
But on Don't Run From It, I take that MC and listen to him on Before COVID.
Yeah, Before COVID, yeah.
And your rhyme patterns are different, your word placement is different, and you're actually building a world on Don't Run From It, where the 3L album, you're most likely showing people you're nice, but now you're transcending the, I'm telling y'all I'm nice, so let me show you how nice I really am.
Exactly, yeah. You got it, man.
Yeah, Kentucky showed me that as well. Kentucky, he was just flipping. I was like, okay. Kentucky
was nice. Another true story, man. And shout out to my nigga Dre Skills, man. That's my mentor. He gave me that beat. But yeah, Kentucky, man, that was real things that was going on at that time, man. It was crazy time, bro.
Hip hop is therapy, man. And sometimes we gotta rap about our lives, to not only to get through things, but to show the world that we real people too, and we have feelings.
Absolutely.
Everybody ain't a player. Everybody ain't a killer. Everybody don't got all the women. Everybody don't got all that stuff. But what we do have is life experience.
Yeah.
And if you telling me most of this stuff was real, 96, where's you
96.
going to 96?
That's real, man. We was going to Ann Arbor, man, in Michigan. You know, it's a nice little drive from Detroit to Ann Arbor. And I went out to Ann Arbor with a female friend, man, and it was a good time. So, you know.
I guess all rhymes are true, y'all.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
But let me just say this before we start closing down on the interview. And I hope everybody's loving the interview. Please drop a comment. I want to know, y'all got questions? I'll ask your questions. We got the phone system coming, so y'all could call in eventually. But right now, if you have any questions, please. I wanted to get 100 comments tonight, and we're doing pretty good. Shout out to my sis sliding doors. Shout out to Harmony Equality. That's in. Love y'all. Women make hip hop better, for real, and life, period. But before we close this up, I don't remember offhand because I lost my note, but I like the fact that you use old school hip hop to make fresh new sounds. Shout out to your producer and your engineer, which is you an engineer?
I do. I engineer my own stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Which is the song that you use the rock bass It Takes Two background on?
Oh, so that's Flips. So shout out to shout out to that was Chalon Davis. He actually produced that out of New York. So I think what you thinking about is I did like a little spoken word called Math Class before Flips came on. So I use elements of Flips in the background for that spoken word part. That's what that was. So yeah.
I told y'all I'm a beast. I listen to the music, y'all.
Y'all
don't come on this show. We don't come on this show and it's just like, all right, so tell me about Diddy. Tell me about Colors. Who is sexy? I'm sexy. The music's sexy. We're going to focus on the music. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I ain't calling you sexy. We won't do that over here.
Oh, yeah, pause.
No manscaping. No manscaping. But realistically speaking, and going back to what hip hop is and how you're mastering your words. To me, I'm gonna ask you a question I usually ask at the end, but your mind is so different when you rhyme. Because most people be like, I'm the hard street dude, and what or some people be like, I'm the street philosopher, and this is what happens. Yeah. You're more in the middle. And you know how they say you can't play the middle, you have to either choose the side of the fence, you gotta walk the fine line.
Yeah.
But there's also a saying that says the man that holds his peace can control both sides of the war.
Yeah.
And I seen that within you. And there's a question that I really wanted to focus on when it came to you. Some of my most important MCs are not rappers. Okay. To me, Marcus Garvey was an MC. Malcolm X was an MC. Fannie Lou Hamer was an MC. Tamika Mallory has her moments. She's an MC. And for you, I wanted to know, what outside influences did you use to help make the gumbo that produce your sound and your flavor for hip hop?
Oh, outside influences, man. Miles Davis. Miles Davis. I name one. Just because this is what I do sometimes. Sometimes I get to the studio. It's not always a home run, bro. I'm not always just like in rapper mode. Sometimes I get there. And my biggest rule is don't force it. I don't force no vibes at all. So like if I'm not feeling it, I'm just not feeling it. But that don't mean that I'm not about to do something in the studio. So a lot of times what I do is I'll just go on YouTube and start watching like old interviews from artists from back in the day. So I watched hours of old Miles Davis interviews, Herbie Hancock, Prince, even Michael Jackson. Like I would just watch these old interviews, just soaking up game. Marvin Gaye was a good one. I watched his for a long time. Barry White, all these guys, they were really, at the top of their game, and they are who they are already. So, sometimes I do that, and especially a lot during that time. Pimp C is another guy who I would just sit back. You'll hear on the new project, but I would just sit back and just watch hours of footage of Pimp C just talking in interviews and stuff. And I would try to engulf myself in something musically that day, even if I didn't make music. So I would say those would be like some instrumental influences to gel everything together to inspire me,
Yo, that's amazing. You know who you remind me of?
Yeah.
your cadence. You know David Porter?
I'm not familiar.
He made the song The Masquerade. Who Shot You came from that. The LL Cool J joints.
Oh,
you
yeah, I know. Oh, you talking about this guy who they sampled the song from?
Yeah.
Oh, no, see, I never heard him.
Check out David Porter and check out Syl Johnson. You know Syl Johnson.
So that don't name. What do you do? I'm not good with names.
Okay,
but like I'm good with it.
Go Syl Johnson, SYL Johnson. That's
Okay.
a lot of the Wu-Tang beats. One of his songs gave birth to 3 or 4 Wu-Tang songs.
Okay, I'm gonna do my homework.
These are deep guys, and the way they structure, I think if you structure the way you do continuously and you become the master of your craft, because mastership don't come till death. We already know. We always working on ourselves.
Yeah.
But as you master yourself, I think you will see what I see from them in you.
Okay.
Which is steady mastery. Not here. I'm here. Let me try this.
Yeah.
I see the flow of greatness come from consistency and believability, not just doing it because you can.
Right.
I want to give you that respect.
Oh, yeah,
I heard that in you. Ladies and gentlemen, this interview is almost over. We're gonna have some fun. But now we come to the part of the interview that's called Stand on Your Square, where you get about 30 seconds to tell everybody why you the shit and why they should buy your music. So ready, set, go.
Yeah, man. I mean, everything kind of speaks for itself, man. I mean, you heard the man yourself. He listened to the music. He had great things to say about it. Like I said, ain't nobody ever told me I was whack, trash, garbage, and none of that. So that's another reason. Number 2, I'm a fresh new voice from Detroit. You ain't never heard me before, or maybe you never heard a Detroit nigga rap like this before, or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, man, I got a lot more stories to tell, man. Yeah, man, that's about it, man. That's all I got for you.
Damn humility. This is gonna be nice. All right, fine. We'll let you be nice. Shout out to
the new albums is coming out too, man. I got like 3 or 4 of them shits lined up for the rest of this year, man. So you're gonna hear from me.
Well, I'm gonna extend an open door policy to you because I do like your music, and I've experienced in a little bit of time. I've experienced your growth, and I like to support people who I genuinely like their music. I've interviewed some people who music. Look at my face.
Yeah.
So, but there's people who, when I really like, you could tell I really like your music for how the energy was in the interview.
Yep.
It's very, very good. And so to honor that, I would like to play a game which you call the rapid fire questions.
All right.
Are you ready to play this game?
Yeah, let's go, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, the rapid fire questions are not yes or no questions. These are questions designated and made to show you the intelligence and the depth of knowledge of the artist that is on the platform and of the genre that we share, hip hop. So my first question to you, sir, is who are the 4 most important MCs to come out of your territory?
Oh, man. 4 most important out of my territory? Man. I mean, well, definitely the Eminem. He's pretty important. Who else is that important? Trick. I don't think people understand how important Trick is to the Detroit culture itself, not just the music. Man, there's so many people, bro. You really put me on the spot. Let me see, man. I'll say, dang, I can't put a group in there.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna say Doughboy Cash Out and Team Eastside. Yeah, okay. Very important.
Okay. So y'all got an important look at the mind of someone from the territory. One of my favorite MCs from your territory is Elzhi. Elzhi, I think he doesn't get the accolades he deserves because of the route that he went, which is to stay true and moral and not do things that will sell him short by selling out for glory.
Yeah.
What is glory to you? How do you keep that sacred to you so you don't sell yourself short?
To me, it is my overall purpose, which is in this rap shit for me is just to be the nicest, the coldest. Like that's really what I'm just aiming to be, man. Like honestly, like I'm not here to go back and forth with nobody. I mean, if it come to that, it come to that. You know what I'm saying? I don't think nobody want that, but at the end of the day, I'm really just want to be the best. I want to be on Mount Rushmore, not just Detroit, but the best ever. Period. Point blank. That's it.
All right, that's what's up. So that means changing your song pattern to be world accepted, not just hood accepted.
We'll see when we'll cross that bridge when it come to that.
Okay.
I understand what you said. You need to be palatable for everybody. I do understand that, which is why I try to keep it as simple as I can. Because I mean, I don't want to overcomplicate things, but at the same time, you're gonna get this work. So
Okay. So what album or song from another artist perfectly describes you?
another artist perfectly describes. That's tough, man. I'll say Nas. It was written. The only reason why is because that album right there is pretty much the album that made me wanted to pick up a pen for real. And I feel like that's pretty much where the base where I create from. That was the first layer of inspiration was that album. I mean, as soon as I heard the message, and I had never listened to Nas before at all. Never. I didn't hear Illmatic. I didn't hear none of that. I just heard the message. I was high. I popped it in, listened to it. And I was in that. And when I listened to that first song, I bullshit you not, I instantly, at that point in time, was like, yo, I want to rap. I still didn't write a rap for another like 2 or 3 years, but I knew right then and there that I wanted to do it. And so I feel like everything since then has just kind of been building on that, you know what I'm saying, to build me up to being my own category as an MC, So if I had to say anything, I would say that. And I give an honorable mention to Reasonable Doubt just because I just love that album, especially in the summertime.
Okay. Shout out to Speaking Your Life into Existence. And he did it while he was high. So maybe he had powers. I don't know. That's deep. Yeah. What's the perfect hip hop beat? Meaning if that person never came out with that song, it would have been your first single.
Man, I don't think that Houdini friends get enough love and respect, man. I know that's an old ass hip hop beat, man. I know it's not boom bap. I know that, but man, I'm not gonna lie to you. I really love that beat, and that drum pattern has been sampled so many times over and over again, man. It just keep popping back up, and it's just I don't know, man. I don't know what it is about my ears that's attracted to that beat, but I love that beat, man. Like for real.
So do something to it. What's up?
I mean, maybe it's been done, redone, refried, and you know what I'm saying? Maybe I might, maybe, but man, that's just, I love that beat. That's a perfect beat, man. And it's also the same beat to If I Rule the World. So like full circle. But yeah, man.
Hey, that's a good point. That's a good point. Here's another question for you. I got like probably 3 or 4 more questions, and then we're gonna close this out.
Yeah.
Here's an MC question. Most people ask, do you want to be listened to or you want to be heard? I've asked that question, but here's what's more important to me to ask you. Do you want to be heard or do you want to be studied, and why?
I would say just heard, because I feel like people who study, they just want to be rappers. So, and at least that's how I look at it. It's like you get a little too close to the stage and now you just want to jump on it. But I would say heard, because that's for everybody. That's for your grandmother. That's for the little kids. That's for, I just want to be heard. And then you can make the decision of whether or not you think I should be on that Mount Rushmore. You know what I'm saying? That's just how I kind of look at it. So
that's very profound. Besides the pen and the microphone, what is the most important instrument that we use to keep hip hop alive?
Besides the pen and the microphone, the most important instrument, I would say experiences and voices. more so voices. I think people don't really think about how important your voice is when it comes to rapping. You know what I'm saying? A good voice could take you a long way, or a peculiar, a distinctive voice could take you a long way. But a bad voice could trash you. I know a guy that I was rapping with for forever, and his rhymes he was cold, and he just loved to rap, but his voice was trash. It was garbage. Like he never found out how to use it properly and what right beats to rap on, so he would sound good. So you know, man, your voice. I mean, people love West Side Gun. I like West Side Gun, but I feel like, you know, he not the best lyricist. People say he not the best lyricist. However, he has the best voice for what he's doing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, a lot of people got is good voices and there's distinctive voices. Like Jay-Z to me got a distinctive voice. You know what I'm saying? But to me, Nas has a really good voice. Like you can put Nas over anything and it sound all right, you know?
Yeah, a good voice could like the Danny Brown. Like his voice is crazy,
Distinctive and range. So yeah,
but it
yeah,
works.
it works. Yeah, yeah, for what he do for sure. Yeah,
yeah. Shout out to Danny Brown. Two more questions. Let's give you a throwaway question. How did you like being on the Heritage Hip Hop Podcast, and would you recommend us to anyone else?
I love it, man. Recommend it, man. All across the board, man. I wish I had 4 thumbs. Give it 4 thumbs up, man. For real.
I appreciate that. So we're going to go to the last question of the interview. I'd like to thank everybody for joining us. When we're finished, don't sign off. Hit the like button, subscribe, share. I told y'all, we only do classics on Heritage Hip Hop. We don't do that phony stuff. We only do classics. And I try to give the artist the best interview they ever have. But like I said, you have an open door policy. So you're going to get different questions every time you come on. Believe me. You know what I'm saying?
Let's go. Let's go.
But this is the most important question I ask every first interview. And the question is this. 500 years from now, when they go to the Hip Hop Hall of Fame, whether it's in Detroit or Universal, Mars there. And when they push the red button and your hologram pops out the wall and people listen to your podcast, which is Detroit State of Mind podcast.
Word. Yep.
See, I do my homework, y'all. When they listen to Don't Run From It, and they listen to all these albums, and they see your stage performance, and they learn about you, you're going to inspire people 500 years into the future. What is your legacy that you leave behind that made the world better because you did hip hop?
Because I did hip hop. I mean, it's going to just be better music because it's so much trash out and it's so easy to put a lot of bull crap out. Like it's much more important right now than any time to really make really good rap music. You know, for one, it's a crowd for it and people want to hear it and want to listen to it. And years from now, this is what's going to be in that hip hop museum. It's not going to be the Little Trash or whoever just came out. It's going to be who made them classics, who really had them bars, who really was saying something. This is the stuff that's going to last that long, 500 years from now, if anything. So, you know, this we building that now, you know. So yeah, that.
Shout out to Amar for giving us not only philosophy, but he gave us the truth of the matter of what hip hop is.
Yep.
Stay on the line. Don't hang up, please. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to the Heritage Hip Hop Podcast tonight. This was a great interview, and I want to thank everybody that's out there sharing, liking, and subscribing. We're going to take the rapid fire questions off because that's off now. Make sure you, like I said, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, share the interview. We'd like to donate to Heritage Hip Hop. $ Heritage Hip Hop for donations. Shout out to Harmony Equality because she made this picture for me. We got hoodies, shirts, mugs, whatever on teepublic.com/heritage hip hop. We have new shows or shows that's being rebranded coming back, like Truth Behind Beats, where we're going to highlight these producers that make these beats, and also Truth Behind Bars, where people like Mark could come back and drop some bars and show the world not only how nice they are, but how important they are when it comes to hip hop. All right. Shout out to my sis Sliding Doors, who always holds me down. Shout out to my guy. I'm so happy that my guy Mr. came on. Salute to my brother, y'all. Appreciate you, definitely. And everybody else tuning in. Shout out to Hustle Black TV. Everybody came in the A zone. Harmony Equality. I love you, sis. You know that. And more importantly, thank you to everybody that's watching. Return to Heritage Hip Hop because we got great interviews coming, and we have the Mike Council coming back which is my show about things that affect the hip-hop culture that's not related to music totally, but it's real and it affects our lives. I'm not going too far. Without that being said, may the Most High bless you. Peace. Oh, check out my cartoon character, and I'm out.
Real hip hop. Real hip hop. We here.